Hello, y'all, and welcome to Happy Healthy Whole with Sharea. I'm Sharea, and this is week 3, I think it is, of self-love series that we're doing. And so today we're talking boundaries, self-care, and loving yourself out loud. We've already talked about the radical self love that it takes to start with some practice tips. We also talked about challenging our negative self talk. And this week, we're going to talk about boundaries and self care. Two things that are so cliche right now that I want to talk about it from a perspective that looks at it from understanding boundaries are not about isolating and taking yourself out of community. And self care is not about only doing the things that make me feel so great and good. It's about being able to have that balance and also nurturing the fullness of self care that requires social and generational connections that are about love. So, let me ask you a question. When was the last time that you did something for yourself without feeling guilt? If you hesitated, we need to talk. But if not, I get it. That's great. I feel like you're already on your path. And we have been, as Black women over the last few years, really getting into that. But setting boundaries and practicing self care is an act of self love. Why are boundaries essential? Boundaries are not about pushing people away, isolating yourself, or trying to keep yourself away from everything. They are about protecting your peace in a way that is about understanding your capacity with without laboring in relationships, spaces, and less and things. Because it's not always people. That's another story. About not overextending ourselves, knowing that when we feel drained, we should say no and how to say no. It's about really being able to understand that if we don't set these boundaries, we end up in a place that is more around resentment than it is about healing and connection. And so, how do we set boundaries? I believe that I've done one on these as well a few months or maybe a couple years ago. It's been a while, I'm not sure. But how do we set boundaries and maintain them? The first thing is say no without explanation. No is a full sentence. You don't owe anyone any justification for why you are saying no. You just need to say it and mean it. Give yourself the space to be able to do so. Prioritize rest and joy. You hear me talk about this all the time. One of the foundational things that I believe in healing is that we require joy to be a part of it so that we can have even balance in our healing and it not just be painful. Block time on your calendar for you, whether it's reading, dancing, or doing anything that is just giving you a space or feeling of joy. You deserve it. Doesn't have to be alone and it doesn't have to be isolated for it to be self love. Enforce your boundaries. If someone keeps, if you have a habitual line crosser, then you need to start saying something, lifting that voice out to them, explaining to them why you will no longer allow them to treat you in a way that is not respectful. And if they can't do that, then you have to move on in a way that still allows for them to get it right. If you are in a relationship that is loving, or if it's a relationship that you would love to keep working, you don't have to cut them off for you to set a boundary. You can give them clear expectations of what you respect or expect around respect of dealing with them. It's not all or nothing. Really remember, and I'm not going to labor this one too long, so this video is probably going to be the shortest out of the 4, is really just look at how are you taking care of yourself every day? Are you resting? I'm going to link in here specifically one of the self-care videos because I think you can get the gist of what I'm saying, but I also want you to go if you need more examples, if you need more explanation around self-care and boundaries. I'm going to link both of these videos or both of them in there for you. All right. Self-care isn't selfish. You've heard it a million times now, so start activating it. It's about your survival at this point. If you haven't already, like and subscribe to our channel. I also would like to know what's one boundary you need to set this week. Drop it in the comments. And if you do, what I may do is actually respond and see if I can offer you a free gift, depending on who's first. All right. Be well.